Good morning and welcome back to the one that Celtic fans view. If Carlsberg did weeks for Louis Palmer, this would be it. With all the meltdown that happened across the city last night and the other side of Glasgow, Louis Palmer must be sitting thinking, I have made it. Yes, he is getting his dream move. Louis Palmer, coming from Honduras and South America, will be a highly religious person and put his faith in God and the fact that he knows deep inside that he wanted to go to Spain and play. He wanted to come to Celtic and be a success. And then he wanted to be then sold and head off to Spain and live his ideal lifestyle. And Madrid, I can't believe I'm saying it, but yes, he is heading to Madrid. He put his faith out there. He put it out on Instagram and people were saying, and I said it myself, he needs to get rid of this delusion of grandeur. He needs to start turning on for Celtic if he really wants a move to Spain. Never once, even a couple of weeks ago, well, about a week ago, when it was suggested he might go to Greece, and I thought, that's a good move for Louis Palmer. That's a good move for him. He'll get some closer to Spain. Then, just blindsided, we get told that Louis Palmer is heading to Madrid. Yes, to the Partick Thistle of Madrid. No, he's not going to Real Madrid, he's not going to Atletico Madrid, and that's the teams that you think about, and that's the stadiums, to be fair, that people go to when they go to Madrid. And they go and look at these stadiums, do stadium tours. Nobody really talks about Rio Vallecano. Yes, nobody. It is the Partick Thistle, as I call it, it's the Partick Thistle of Madrid. And he's fair play to him. He's living the dream. He will be living the dream. He's reached his ultimate destination. The fact that they've got an option to buy for £2.1 million, €2.5 million, he's got to be laughing his head off this morning. He's going to be sitting there in his bedroom going, all those doubters. He'll be thanking God, and he'll be sitting after doing his cosmic ordering and asking the cosmos about he could see himself playing in Spain. He had that vision. Fair play to Louis Palmer, that's what I say. And if Carlsberg did weeks, they added to it last night by the absolute meltdown of the Sevconian fans. So we're going to talk about Chris Boyd in just a second, but we need to listen to this because I'm all for us remembering what clubs did wrong in the past that makes them go into liquidation. There's been various clubs over the years that have been in financial difficulty in Scottish football. We can all name them. Yes, we can name them. But some fans never learn. One set of fans want Rangers to go back into money laundering.
First team, winning trophies, everything else incidental. How you're going to bring money, I mean, fair enough. The rest of it and that, it's good for a tax thing, for camouflaging money. Just like people are opening up a market stall, or opening up one of the car washes, or opening up one of the sunbed things for women and that.
I'm actually hearing this. You're actually talking. This is an older Rangers fan talking about the club should get back into money laundering.
That's good ways of sorting out money. The taxman and that. And it's just,
you never paid any tax the last time. This is the whole reason that you went into liquidation, pal.
Same with a museum, it's the same with a coffee shop, it's the same with all the rest of that sort of things that they've got going on.
Now, anybody that does have a coffee shop, that does have a museum, I don't think there's many private museums that are open to the public in Glasgow, and anybody that has any of the other establishments that this guy says, I apologise if you took offence that he instigates that insinuates that you might be laundering money through your car wash or your sunbed shop or your coffee shop.
In the periphery.
I think obviously that's to up the turnover, mate. Yeah, whether it's successful the time will tell. But I'll tell you what, it'll be less successful if you get a less successful team on the park, mate.
100%, aye. It starts for winning football matches. That's your most important thing.
And then you do the money laundering. It's unbelievable in this day and age, after that, what that club went through, and after the financial doping that club had, that they're openly talking in public, in a public forum. They're openly talking on talking about money laundering. Now let's get that. It's just unbelievable that they have the gall to even think about it again.
But why they've got all that is it's a good way of moving money, and because nobody knows exactly how many folk are walking around a museum every day, and how many folk are sitting in a coffee shop every day.
Unbelievable.
Just the same as tanning studios, car washes, and all the rest of it.
I think you'll find there'll be a lot of cards, mate, and you'll be able to trace that. That'll all be traceable. It's not a cash industry.
But it's all done in house.
It's all done in house. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, funny handshake, and do the books rang.
It's all done in house, all that sort of stuff. So there's ways of manoeuvring things and ways there's no.
Cool.
If you've not got them, you can't do it. So that's the reason that all these things are all there. And then
If you've not got them, you can't do it. If you've not got these things, we can't launder money at the club. Unbelievable. We need to get onto the biggest meltdown of ever. It takes it to it just keeps on getting higher and higher, boy, doesn't it? It just keeps on getting higher. The fact that the meltdowns keep on coming. And I'm not going to make an apology about this. And let's face it, you're a Celtic fan of a certain age, and as a lot of my mates are, and we all went through the 1990s, and how it was thrown down our neck, and the fact that they bought titles at that time, and unknown to us what was really going on in the background. And watch out for Paul Larkin's next book that's coming out. That's going to expose a bit more from a fan's perspective. So hats off to you, Paul, for that. When you look at it, we have the full 100% right to wallow in their pity and to make as much of this as possible, because if it was up to them, Celtic would never been in existence. They wanted us wiped off the planet. They wanted us gone forever. But it didn't happen, did it? Now listen to Chris Boyd.
What Dundee United away, you could just play that again for the next. It's just excuse after excuse. We can sit here and we can speak about injuries. Dundee have got injuries. There's a Rangers team there should come up here and wipe the floor with Dundee, and they're hanging on. That's 13 points out of 33 away from home is a disgrace. By the way, you can speak about progress. There's none. There is none. There's none. You speak about players being tired and low in confidence.
Wait a minute, Chris. What happened when that was it? You're coming again. We're back. We're coming. We beat Celtic.
Absolutely destroyed Celtic a week ago or 10 days ago. Destroyed them. And you're struggling for confidence. You draw a game and you lose a game before the Celtic game. There was no confidence struggle going into the Celtic game, and now after it you've drew 2 games again and there's a lack of confidence. Everything. It just doesn't make sense. Half the stuff.
Is it a mental thing? Is it a quality thing? Is it a mixture?
Got yourself. Chris Sutton's coming in. We know what's coming. The baiting is about to come for Chris Sutton.
I just look at the club right now. On the pitch, it's broken. There's no patterns of play. There's nothing. I mean, you're hoping. You look at Igaman, that little bit of quality on Sunday. You'll always refer back to the Celtic game as Rangers' best performance this season, but it can't just be one-off, Chris. We know that. I mean, we can speak about it, and I know we'll have our battles and we'll have a laugh and a joke and everything about it, but
he's broken, isn't he? Chris Boyd's broken.
It's an absolute disgrace that Rangers are in this position.
How is it? I listened to one of the phone-ins last night when I get doing a bit of research, and one of their supporters did say, look, we're way back to the 1980s. We are back where we were in the 1980s. And he reminded people that in the 1980s, Rangers fans voted with their feet and didn't turn up at Ibrox. When you look back at the history records, in the 1980s, they were getting about 6,000 in a game. 6,000 in a game. That's where they really came from. Not the dubbed 1990s.
And you can say you've not spent money. There has been money spent. Yes, there has been a cost cutting, but there has been money spent. There is no improvement. Spoke about the injuries improving as well. There's been that's actually worse. You can speak and then moving players around and having to play extra minutes. Guess what? You're a football player. That's what you're paid to do, is play minutes. I mean, there is no progress at all. It's done. You can tell. It's just. It's over to Patrick Stewart now, because I'm telling you right now, that's the last 2 away games we've been at. Those fans have had enough.
Yay.
It's going to get to the stage where they stop coming to games, and then you'll see the real problems starting to materialise for Rangers, because this can't continue.
This can't continue. Demand and change, and they're back at the 1980s level. Let's face it. They've just got a bit more money to spend than they did in the 1980s, but. In football terms, Aberdeen must be absolutely livid with their team. Aberdeen fans must be livid because the Rangers were there for the taking this season. Aberdeen could have been going into the qualifiers for the Champions League this summer. And let's face it, Celtic have got one hand on the championship trophy. Yes, the 55 is incoming. I need to make that a little bit bigger now, going for 55. I need to change it to 55 is on its way.
I mean, you three have all been part of football teams. You've all been in dressing rooms, and I think for people watching on it, it's difficult to understand how you can get the performances like Rangers have had in Europe and against Celtic to then have such a drop-off. Where does that come from?
It's tough. I think that, we've spoke many times about Rangers and when they play well is when they're maybe up against it, or they're against a team that are favourites.
So they're just Scotland in disguise.
And you see the energy.
That'll make them mental meltdown. The Union Jack, they're just Scotland in disguise.
I don't think that Rangers played with always coming to the right centre back and proper. It was side to side as well as when the ball's gone over. And it's not a problem. It's not as big a problem to defend against as if you're playing forward passes, if you're playing it quick and you've got runners. He spoke about not having intensity of running. Hutton Dundee with penetrating passes.
Is that a bravery thing when you're on the ball to take on a pass
absolutely.
that is maybe not 100%?
Yeah, and then you look at the Rangers team, the Rangers squad, and you think, well, does the jersey fit for a lot of these players?
Yeah.
And I've said before that there's a losing mentality at the club, but nothing really has changed. And this isn't just on Philippe Clement. This has been happening now for years and years and years. And you watch how insipid that performance was tonight. Everybody, Celtic are laughing at them. Brendan Rodgers have been cracking open the champagne this evening, laughing at them. It's an embarrassment that we are, in the early part of January, and Celtic are 15 points clear.
Top of the league and looking
that is shocking.
down on the
and it is
Rangers.
amazing. And we're talking before the game. I mean, myself and Chris, thought that Philippe Clement should have gone.
Form we have found since Brendan's been around that has taken us to the top of the league.
Time ago, but they are at a sort of crossroads now because. Can this go on? The club are in
Of course it can go on, Chris Sutton.
And so are we going to look at is Patrick Stewart going to look at the bigger picture and not just one game against Celtic where they raise the game or the odd game in Europe? This is domestically. I said before the game, Philippe Clement will come out and talk about Celtic having a bigger budget.
It's like the old, can anyone remember the old adverts with the skeleton and it went re-record, not fade away, re-record, not fade away. Yeah, it was for VHS or something, wasn't it? It was back in the 1980s. That was fantastic, and that's just the modern day Rangers, isn't it? They just keep going through the same thing again and again and again. They're going to change manager, they'll get a little buzz, they might beat Celtic, the last game, the home game that they'll have, the last game of the derby, and let's just hope that Celtic fans will be really, really hoping that we get them in the Scottish Cup final, won't you? Because there'll be no better way to finish off the season than getting to the Scottish Cup final and becoming the most successful team in Scotland by a margin now, not by one trophy, not by two, but that would make us 3 trophies in front of them, and to do it against them, who would be simply the best then?
But Rangers shouldn't be dropping 19 points against sides who, have far, far lesser budgets than them. And he never mentions that. And we hear the excuses week in and week out now. And it's not good enough. And it's about time he took ownership, but he won't. But this Belgian waffle will carry on and carry on and carry on. It won't stop until there's a decision made on him.
Chris Sutton did not just say that on television.
And it's about time he took ownership, but he won't. But this Belgian waffle will carry on and carry on and carry on. It won't stop until there's a decision made on him.
Sorry. Well, what a day, what a way to start a day. Make sure that you share this with all your friends. And yes, when we look at the league table this morning, the league table does not lie. Yes, it does not lie. Celtic are in. We're in charge, aren't we? We're on 56 points with a goal difference of 50. We always thought that the goal difference may come into it slightly. So at the beginning of the season, we went on a complete goal fest every single game. And we made sure that we got as many goals as we could in front. Brendan Rodgers knew that he wanted the title again. He came back to Celtic to make sure that we won the league, and he is doing it in style. Unfortunately, we won't have a season where we are unbeaten, but to go on the run that we've been on, we're not going to be invincibles. But I'll tell you one thing. The fact that Rangers are on 41 points, Dundee United are on 34 points. Aberdeen has slipped down to 4th position on 34 points. They just can't buy a win just now. They can't buy referees either. And they will be thinking to themselves, we had an opportunity. We had a chance and we didn't take it. And Aberdeen fans will be well within the right to think, do you know what? What a wasted season, considering we had such an opportunity to put pressure on that other side of Glasgow and for us to become a force in Scottish football again. But it didn't work out for Aberdeen. I feel sorry for Aberdeen, who regularly comments on the channel, because he has been such a good supporter of this channel when we're going into Champions League games and such. When it comes to Lewis Palmer, this is my advice to you this morning. If you're still watching this video at this point, thank you for watching the video to the end. And if you've got anything that you want to dream of, anything that you want to do in life, focus on it 100%. If Lewis Palmer can come to Celtic from South America and have a dream of playing in Spain and not being the best player for Celtic and people saying that he's not good enough, but he's got his dream move and he's off to Spain. On that note, have a fantastic day to all you Celtic fans all around the world.